None of this is required. We have a tank. Tanks aren't just tanks. Tank Panzer, T-34, Sherman. Tanks. Tank. Yeah. I mean, what was I to say? It's a tank. Tank over there. There's tanks. Let's go look at all the guns that destroy the tanks. Right, so the Pavlov VR World War II update has just dropped, and this is going to be me covering everything in it, from the tanks, which I'm going to cover first because I thought that's what most people will be here for, and then when you go into the shooting range and look at all the different weapons, I'm going to talk about them for a little bit. It's just a nice chat. That's all this is going to be. So I had planned to produce just one video, but it is going to be two Pavlov videos. But when I realised that the shooting range was like 15 minutes and the tanks I was talking about for like 10 minutes, and plus gameplay on top, it's going to be like nearly an hour long video. So I was like, we're going to do this video where we're just going to talk about the update and show off what's going on, show how to use tanks, what there is, what my slightly negative, disappointed opinions are. I love the tanks, it's just they're not quite what I expected. And yeah, that's going to be it. And if you want to watch the gameplay of just me having fun in this update, go on over to the other video, and that'll be out in about a week's time. And yeah, so if you're sticking around just to see the update, stay here. Check the timestamp below, and you'll see what's happening when. It'll probably just be split down to tank positions like driver, gunner, bow gunner / commander, whatever people call it, and then the firing range. So yeah. Enjoy, guys. Right, we're on Stalingrad with the Germans. Let's go over to our tanks. None of this is required. We have a tank. We don't need anything. So I want to start by talking about the tanks overall. They look really nice. They look really well. They look good when they operate. I can't say anything more than that. There are 3 types of tanks. We've got the Panzer IV, I believe. I can't remember which type of model this cannon is, but yeah. The Russians have got T-34, and the US have got the Sherman. So the most common of all the tanks of each nation. So I haven't got a British tank. I'm gutted about that, but yeah. We'll cover the Panzer first, and then the others are all operate exactly the same. They're just different visuals. So that's the tank. We see from the outside. You've got a driver's seat, you've got a bow gunner seat, which is where the machine gun's coming out, and the gunner. I'll be honest, I'm disappointed by that. I wasn't expecting a separate loader seat. It's a video game. I understand people don't want to do that necessarily. But if there was going to be 3 seats, I would have thought it would be driver, gunner / loader, and commander. I'm so surprised they added this seat as the third option, and not the commander. But that's just my personal gripes. A lot of people like it, so I can't complain. It is fun to use, but it's the last seat I would have expected to have been added. But tanks aren't just tanks. They are the start of what's potentially combined arms warfare in VR. I mean, that in itself is a fucking crazy concept. Like, I was following behind a T-34 to use it as cover. It's just fun. And there's now 40-player servers. I mean, we can actually we get to low milsim levels of players. This is like opening up options for VR now, for things like that. And after that, let's get inside. Let's start with the front seat, the driver's seat. So you come up to these rails to get into the seats, and then you choose the grip button. We're in. Engine started on its own. There's nothing you can do here with the engine. That doesn't work. So don't need to skip that. There's nothing to do here. The only things you need to worry about as a driver are these 2 gears. And they're simple as, you want to go forward? Right, you push them forward. You go forward. Let go. You want to go backwards? Right, put them backwards. So essentially, these are your tracks. Right track, left track. You want to go right? Push the right track. Sorry, you want to go left? Push the right track forward, left track back. And you'll spin on the spot. And you'll spin really fast. Now, it is a bit finicky to get used to. When you get used to it, it's actually alright. The only real major issues you get is when one of your controllers loses tracking, and then you just start veering well off course. But that is it. You've got your periscope, you can see what's going on, and it's just nice. But with periscope, if you move out of your zone though, you can't just teleport out. If I move forward, it'll teleport you back in. Let's reset myself. It'll teleport you back into your seat, so you don't have to worry about that. And to get back out, you just grip on your hatch, and you back out where you got him. Simple as. There is also a blowtorch which you can use to repair these vehicles. Some classes spawn with it in TDM, I haven't, and it's just a case of double-handing it for the gas and repairing it. Same as like Battlefield 3 style blowtorch. The gunner seat, again, come up to the rear handle, and then the other one lighted up, and get in. So this is your gunner / loader. First thing you want to do, look at these. Take time to familiarise yourself. These will tell you how to aim and shoot. This tells you how to load. First thing you want to do is load the gun. Open up the breech. As you see, the breech will close, open. That's how you put it around him. You bring the round up. So you can see the animation's a bit weirdly fixed. I don't know. I just forgetting like Pavlov when VR is all about moving, manipulating things. I don't like it necessarily, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Let's be honest. You bring it up to here, hand on the back of it. It's more or less the same thing. T-34 like halfway down, but grab it again, push it into the breech. Sadly, you can't see it. Close the breech. That's it. It's done. It's locked. You cannot do anything more with this again. Again, I wish you could do more, but I mean, if this was a tank simulator, you'd have multiple rounds of ammunition, different types of ammunition. That would be cool. I'd love to do that. I'd love to be able to open this back up, quickly change to HE, or I mean, this is an APCR round, but I don't know how that works in this game. And that's that. And then, second part of being a gunner. So this is the loader part. The gunner part. You have to operate the controls. So you have your, as you say here, your elevation, which feels about right. It's not very fast, but it doesn't need to be. The one I'm a bit disappointed about is this. So there's only one option for speed, which is it's pretty good. It's pretty fast, which is great for turning around. But if you've got to aim at something in a distance, which doesn't help with the fact that this is a camera very clearly rather than a periscope, I kind of wish it was an actual aiming device. So if I'm trying to aim at, I'll get out and show you that tank over there. It's actually quite difficult. So I'm going to throw this in really quickly at the unit because I have just become aware of this myself. So your move buttons, so what you normally use to go forward and backward, at least for me on my Vive, will then zoom you in and zoom you out, which will accordingly, I believe, slow down and increase the speed of your thing. I want to say, maybe not. If I zoom right in, it does feel slower and easier to aim, so crisis averted. That is how you can aim in. Right, back to whatever I was saying just before I interrupted. And then now we've got to try and aim there. So which is all right now, but when you're in the adrenaline pumping, you're in the fight and you're plastered trying to get stuff done, it's hard. And then what you do to fire is you push the trigger on this. That's it, fire, and then load again, which is you can get quite fast with this once you get into it. So empty casings out, round up, in, breech close, fire. As you can see, you can get a pretty fast fire rate going once you get used to it. Once you know what you're doing, you can get pretty fast with this. I mean, that's it for the gunner seat. There's nothing more to be said. There's a machine gun here and a seat, which is to this point that they're there, that you can't use them. And another thing is that, where's the fucking driver? Should be able to see him. That was the gunner seat. I wish there were more seats. I mean, the seats are there. I just wish you could do more with them. So on this side, this one's also a gunner seat. Just takes you back into the same seat. It'll always put you out on the left side, I believe. So back one's always gunner, front left is driver, front right is, well, I think it's officially called the radio operator, but for this is the bow gunner. That's right in my face. And here's your radios, which you can't do anything with. You've always got your radio on your ear, but not very helpful. All you have to worry about is this machine gun. You have no other purpose in life other than to shoot people with your machine gun, which has a very wide burst. It'll overheat after a minute, You fire again. There's no reloading. There's no nothing. It's just grab it and shoot at infantry. That is it. Some people call this the commander's seat. I don't necessarily agree with that. It's a terrible place to put a commander, but I don't know. That's just my bias that I really want to have a proper tank simulator. But I mean, this is such a crazy good feature, and they are fun. They are very fun. If you watch my other video I want to be putting up at the same time, there's loads of gameplay with these tanks, and it is just fun. We're going to destroy a tank now. So the driving is easier when you get used to it. It's not that bad. It's just remembering what does what. There we go. He says as he crashes into a fucking wall. It's a bit like flying a helicopter if you don't in the game, where you want to just try not to over adjust too much, overcompensate. So yeah, here we go. We have a Russian tank. There's a wall there. We have a Russian tank right here. All we do is we jump in, aim at it, which is much easier when they're 4 meters away. Let's just hit him right there. Let's load him. The reason I want to stay close so you can see the damage. So one hit, you see, doesn't really affect him that much. If I hit him again though, there you go. You see he's starting to take some damage now. So if I hop out, you see we don't got damage T-34. If I hop back in, reset him. There we go. He's damaged a bit more. I'm pretty sure it's 5 hits in total. It seems to me like it's less when you actually play it in game. When they get to the smoking state, they are completely disabled, so they can't do anything. And then, lastly, that's it destroyed. I'll quickly switch over and I'll show you what the Russian ones look like. I don't know what maps actually have Shermans on them, so I can't show you those. But we'll quickly hop around the seats before the game kicks me out again. This is the driver's seat. Looks very different. It is exactly the same. 2 levers. Go back. That is it. Nothing more to be said. We have the bow gunner, which couldn't be closer if possible. Yeah. You'll notice in this seat you can see through the seat. When there is a driver in here, you will see him, but it's not like they're not modelled in VR, so you can't see their hands moving around or anything. You can't put your hand in front of them. They're just like a random character with a random static idle animation. So, but it's nice to see them there. And lastly, they're going to see it again. Can't see the drivers. I'd love to be able to, but it's all the same. You have this here. Here's your lever. Round from down there. So I mean, you grab them from slightly different places, but it doesn't really matter. Breech closed. That's it. Can't operate the breech anymore. Here's your elevation. Here is your traverse. I'd rather it be slower or have 2 different options. So I did have an idea a while ago that I made on UE4. I started messing around making tanks. Made a Sherman in Blender. Put out the concept of making a tank simulator like this, and got some traction. Had some issue with levers. I'm not a coder. I just did it out as an interest piece for myself, and didn't get very far. I'll show you some footage, some awful footage in the background, but maybe I'll try again on Unity one day. Maybe not. Anyway, enough about. I have just discovered something new. So this is the exact moment when I realised about the move button thing that I threw in earlier, so that's why I kind of lost my mind a bit. Yeah. I mean, what was I to say? It's a tank. Tank over there. There's tanks. Let's go look at all the guns that destroy the tanks. Draw. He said draw. We're going to bring the tanks up. If you ever want to use this for practicing yourself, you have to create a PvP lobby. Make sure it's private. Blah, da, 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 da. We'll make it a bit more awkward just so people don't get it easy. And what you do is you want to change over to Stalingrad is one I know works. I don't know if she's not using the modded ones, but I know Stalingrad works. Confirm, and then World War II TDM is what you want to do. And then let's go on to the red team and let's start. Sometimes you'll get connection loss, but that's alright. Just do it again and it should be fine. we're in shooting range. We have our authentic World War II hands here, and I'm just going to turn around. We have got a plethora of weapons. We got Russians, we got US, British, German. We got so much. Each faction here has got a machine gun. Each faction here has got a bolt action rifle. Most have got a semi-auto. All have got a submachine gun. All of them have got a pistol. Most of them have got a rocket launcher. I know that was in a stupid order. It's just as it came to my head. And I'm just going to pick them up and we're going to talk about them. Let's start with the Germans. To leave you till last, my pretty child. We're going to start with this. I'm sure everyone's curious about these. The rocket launchers. They work really well in my opinion. All they are is a case of, let's push this back a little bit. Doesn't like my fingers sometimes, so you just bring it up to your shoulder, aim like normal. There you go. I'm sorry if it's not lined up properly for you. I couldn't get it to record my right eye, but just what Pavlov wants to do. So you take a new rocket, aim it in, and you just grab the top, push down. Easy. Boom. Same again. In there, push down. Boom. The Luger, which if you've watched Band of Brothers before recently like I have, damn, people love this weapon. I love the way it fires. I love the recoil on top. Pretty happy with that. Down, new mag in, drop it. Pretty simple. It's a nice looking pistol. We've got an MP40. Not much to say about this. It's in every video game ever, World War II wise. And damn, you know, I'm just going to say it again. If Force Tube, if you guys want to sponsor me with a gun tube, I'll be very happy. STG-44, also known as the predecessor to the AK-47, which is where Kalashnikov got a lot of his ideas from, as far as I'm aware. Don't quote me on that, that's just what I remember off the top of my head. It's a nice firing weapon, and it's easy reload. Mag in, very similar to an AK. The interesting thing on this is you see there's a little selector switch here. It's not animated in game, but you did hear that. So now on single fire, fully auto. So you've got that as an option. Quite a high-tech weapon for its day. So the Gewehr, very nice weapon. The German answer to the M1 Garand, I'd say. Probably one of my favourite weapons in this, actually. This and the Russian one are probably my favourite to use, actually. Kar-98, just a nice looking gun, I think. Again, be much easier to aim with a gun stock, but see how it goes. Maybe in the future I'll get one. But they're just nice. I just like bolt actions in games. I just wish I could aim them easier. But yeah, I find it easy just to release your right hand and rack it. Especially if you don't hit a wall right in front of you. I did that just now. I was looking forward to the MG42. Very, very sadly, we have no bipod. Working bipod at least. God, I wish there was a bipod, but damn, this is still fun. Just watch. I just love it. Just a fucking amazingly fun weapon. Feed that in, down. Fuck it. Just tell me that's not satisfying. The reason I want to talk about grenades because they operate, all the different factions' grenades operate differently. So let's just get rid of you for a second. You know, operate. There we go, thank you. Ah, don't fall off. You know what? So, the way these ones operate is you unscrew this cap, just pull down on it, and then this cord, once you pull that, it activates. So, there we go, that's it. You hear it going. Get it sent before it kills you. So, this is it. It's cooked now, unlike the different grenades. That's it, it's cooking. Get it gone. You don't want to suck around with that in your hand. So, BAR sat here at the front. Bipod's out, but again, we've got no bipod yet, sadly. But just nice. There's not much to say really about it. It's just a nice gun. I've not actually used it much in games, but it is just nice. The bazooka, which operates exactly the same as the Panzerschreck, except you can aim ranges on this if you want to. Don't really need to really in Pavlov. It's kind of easy just to go over the shoulder, but exactly the same. Slightly different end on this one. There we go. High power pistol. We'll take the Webley at the same time. But Browning. No, it's just a 1911. There's nothing more to be said, is there really? Nice revolver here. High kick, high recoil though. High recoil. And just a 6-shot revolver, not much more to say. Yeah, I had to count that then. And you can play Russian roulette if you want, but putting it in wherever you want and going bing bada boom. Oh, that is a big old dent there. How big can we make that dent? Oh, I actually dented. Crazy. I didn't know you could do that. Right, beautiful Tommy gun. Just the gangster weapon, isn't it? As we all know. We all know it for that. There is something to be said about this Sten gun. Now, the Sten gun itself, beautiful, love it. How do you operate a Sten gun? Anyone who's ever used a World War II weapon in a World War II game, sorry, anyone who's ever played a World War II game with a Sten gun in it, you hold it here. If I click the grip button, we hold it here, in the heat shroud. The reason it's called that is because it gets very fucking hot. Well, it takes heat away from the barrel, which means it gets very hot. This is the fastest way to get yourselves to the burns unit at your local med centre. But this guy just has thermal hands, man. Other than that, it's a nice gun. I just found that really odd that he held it there. Really threw me at first. A beaut up here, an absolute beaut, the Bren gun. Now, this is one of these guns I think you should really operate with the right hand. I'll show you what I mean by that. One, it's just a lovely gun to fire. One, I'm totally biased. Obviously, all the British guns are the best guns in the game, but that's because I'm British and patriot. So, if you do everything with your right hand, keep your left hand pointed down range, mag off, mag back on, just easier. It's easier than fumbling around with it. If I do it with the other hand, one, that's not even pointed down range, got that, and then having to fumble across it or over that way, it's just more hassle, whereas I can just go. Just makes more sense. You end up in the right place as well. The Lee Enfield, another beauty. Nothing more needed to be said. But I do find it weird it's in a very orange colour. I know they did change the colour throughout the war depending on what trees they used for the stock. God, I wish you could get bayonets in this game. That would be fun. The M1 Garand. For all you US nuts, which would be most of you watching this, I would have thought. It does ping, I promise. Now all of you know what comes next. Let's hear that again, shall we? It's just a nice sound. Everyone loves it, don't they? Let's be honest. Everyone loves that sound. Now, a weapon I was not expecting to see in the game. I believe the reason it was added so that every faction can have a bolt action. What I would have expected to see in its place is more like the M1 carbine, because the M1 carbine was produced in higher quantity than the Garand was, so you would have expected to see that. But I suppose the Springfield arguably was hanging around a lot from World War I, so a lot of units are still using it at the outbreak of the war. So I just watched the Pacific recently, so they're all using that at the start, as well as not Lewis Guns, Vickers machine guns, which I was shocked by. You got your classic pineapple, which is that's it. It's not cooked or anything. If I hold the trigger down and let go, that's it. It goes. Same as you would in real life. This is exactly the same. But you can cook it. If I remember the button is... I can't remember the button. That's the button to cook it. So, same grip button, you can cook it and then set it off. And the last thing I'm going to cover is the Piat, which is the British. It's not a rocket launcher, it's a recoilless rifle, I believe is effectively what it is. This is a massive spring, basically. And the way you reload it in Pavlov is you put the round in the front and you pull the round back. In real life, as far as I'm aware, this folds down and you have to spring it back like a crossbow, which, as far as I can tell from, I believe it was Lindy Bage's videos. If you're a history nerd, go watch him, he's really good. It was a fucking ball ache to do. But, I mean, it's British, so clearly it was the best rocket launcher of the war. These operate very differently to what you're used to again. So we'll do the smoke grenade. Well, the smoke grenade is probably more what you're used to. If you played other games like Squad, you would have seen it. So what happens is you take that cap off and you light this. I'm pretty sure it's different in real life, but the way you do it in Pavlov is you take this and you strike it down like a match and then send it. That's it, it's going. This is a bit of a weird grenade. So the way you do this is you grab it, pull up, pull down. So what happens is It twists up, twists back down in the middle, and then I think this latch here with my thumb is what holds it down, so then when you let go, click, it's going. Easy peasy. Tokarev pistol. Pistol. PPSH. To my surprise, very, very easy to control. Now, I hope you can see where the tracers were going for that. But genuinely, this weapon is very surprisingly easy. Like, it's not perfect, but how many rounds, the fire rate of this thing? I'm surprised. This is probably my favourite weapon in the game right now. And it's the one I really don't know the name of it. I can't remember. But it's same as the M1. We're more closer to the Gewehr. I think it's called something 8, but I really can't remember. But damn, it's a nice gun. I just love it. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about this gun. I just really like it. And sometimes I forget that most guns have magazines in this, but open the top and that's it done. Easy peasy. Just a nice gun. This is the dinner plate, as I call it, or what a lot of people know it as is the record player. So your record player will spin. Sadly, it doesn't spin in real life in the game. I wish it did, but it sounds quite similar to the Bren, in my opinion. And it is just a machine gun. Whenever I see this, it always reminds me of the tank missions in the really old Call of Duty World War II games where you spray the Russian tanky. And what it is you take a new record or a new dinner plate, whack it on top, cock it back. That's it. You're good to go again. It's the Mosin Nagant, the most produced firearm in history, which I have had the pleasure of firing in real life, and damn, it's fun and powerful in your hand. And as shown by the recoil in this, I just find bolt actions really satisfying in this. And I don't find they're not even difficult to win with either. So 5 rounds is out, new clip in, close bolt. That is it. God knows how many weapons are on the floor behind there.
I really hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please feel free to like it, subscribe to the channel for more videos, and stick around next time. See you guys.
You're up.
Want to give us 6 of the shells, things. After that we need to push.
Just try and crawl your way to the fucking... Oh